From the Riverfront Sports Network, I'm Clayson Davis reporting. It's time to preview our first volleyball team here in the Northern Black Hills. It's Spearfish Lady Spartan Volleyball with head coach Shelbie Richards. Anyways, Coach, talk about the offseason, how your team has gotten bigger, faster, stronger to replace a bunch of open spots here this season.
Yeah, so we put a lot of time in this summer. We went to the Black Hills State team camp. We did like a prep camp. We flew some coaches in from California to run that at the end of July. Our numbers over the summer were very steady. We're down a little bit just high school numbers wise, but I'm not really worried about it because our middle schoolers, there's 35 in 7th and 8th grade this year. But no, we definitely look a lot different, right? That's the trending conversation with us and some other sports in Spearfish. But these girls are really hungry. They want to work hard, they want to keep learning, and they know there's those spots open. So there's been a lot of good competition in the gym these last few days. So just kind of figuring out where everybody's going to fit. We're going to have some overlap between JV varsity. We're young, so we want to make sure that we're developing them as overall players. So I can't tell you who's going where yet, but we'll know on Tuesday.
That kind of brings up my next question. I mean, you look across your starting lineup from last year to a potential one this year, and it is completely night and day.
Yeah.
So talk about who has stepped up into some bigger roles, have taken on more reps in practice, and overall, how do you even try to go about to replace pretty much a whole new varsity team this season?
Yeah. So we have Julia Billington coming back. She played on the outside for us last year. And then we have Addie Keller. She was kind of our rover kid. We saw her on the outside. We put her on the right side. They both have put in a bunch of time in the off season, and they're going to be kind of our go-tos, mainly because they have a little bit of that varsity experience coming in. And then after that, there's really none. Taylor Burry was in there because we had some injuries. But other than that, I'm not too worried about it, though, because they want to learn. It's just going to be the youngness in the pressure matches. Our skills are going to be right there. It's just going to be like that mental piece of what to do when, how to stay calm, ground ourselves, find our people. But overall, we have our JV varsity, what it's looking like, has been practicing pretty much this whole time together. So not really sure who's going to go where. Maybe looking at running a 6'2". That's something we haven't ran since Callie was probably an 8th grader or freshman when we did that. So that's just going to be different where we ran a 5'1". So, but we have the girls that want to be there. They're working their butts off. And we're just kind of going into season knowing like we might run 5 different lineups in the first week, or it might change depending on who we're playing. And they're all very versatile though. So no one's really pigeonholed themselves in one specific spot. Even our setters are really good defenders. So it's really going to be putting the puzzle together piece by piece, and it might change throughout the season.
Along with, again, developing some of the underclassmen that you'll have to rely on a bunch of this season, comes with the JV program and off-season conditioning.
Yes.
How have both of those 2 points of your program, the JV and C teams, as well as off-season, has improved your team, again, to compete this year in Class AA?
It helps a lot when they're here in the summer because they get to know us and they know kind of what to expect going into season. They hear what we say, the verbiage, the culture, how we're energy, we're on the go. We like to have fun, but there's a line, right? We need to get our job done too. So this summer they've all been together. They've got a lot of reps side by side. So that really helps us going in. And then they're all one big family though, and that's one thing we want to make sure we continue through the season is we're a program, not just the freshman team, the C team. And these girls do a great job at embracing all of that. So it kind of just is a natural flow when we see them in the off season till now. And they've done a lot of work in the weight room, and we're starting to see that pay off. We're quick, we're fast, we're jumping well. So all of that time they're putting it in the weight room is also, we're seeing it on the court consistently too.
Of course, when it comes to replacing 9 seniors is replacing your setter from Callie Reiners.
Yes.
It's going to be really different seeing Spearfish volleyball without Callie Reiners setting everyone up.
Yeah.
Talk about how that position battle has been going and who are some names in the setter position that we should probably get to know.
Yeah, Piper Jacobs and then Megan. Those are kind of the 2 I'm looking at to run a 6'2" with. But we do have, some other ones that we might be like, hey, you're just going to go try this because we want to make sure that we're setting this team up for success, but we want to make sure we're developing right for the next years to come. So like Piper's going to be a senior, so that spot again will be kind of open. So just making sure that we're still developing them in practice. You might not see them in the varsity game, but in practice they're taking those reps. One thing nice is, yes, we have lost 9 seniors. They're faces that people have seen for a while, but they're leaving a really strong culture. And like all these girls that we have, minus the freshmen, got to see what they do, what the expectation is, and kind of the shoes that they're going to step into. Not necessarily fill, but that's the expectation that we want to keep going forward. So it was really nice that they were around for all of that. Yes, we will miss them, but these guys are pretty hungry to actually like showcase the work that they've been doing under that class up to this point as well.
So in talking about switching to a 6-2 after you've run a 5-1 for the last few seasons here at Spearfish, with, again, the systems that your team's been used to being playing throughout JV, throughout now going into varsity, do you think a transition to a 6-2 is going to be a major change, or do you think the team's going to be able to handle it?
I think it'll be pretty smooth. The biggest thing is your hitters have to be a little bit more aware of who's setting them. Yes, the setters are pretty close to the same, but they might have the same tendencies of if they're out of system, they might be, sending more of a high ball or more of a shoot set. So the hitters are just going to have to be aware of who's setting, but then the setters also have to get to know their hitters, and so that takes a little bit more work than just one setter getting all those reps with them. But it's kind of what we've been running up to this point, so I don't think it's going to make a big change or like a big growing pain necessarily. I think that's just what we'll flow into, and it'll go.
As head coach Shelbie Richards from Spearfish Volleyball joins KDSJ Sports. Of course, another thing when it comes to replacing so many seniors from a heavy senior class last year, the leadership.
Yes.
As far as the team, as far as teammates go. Who has stepped up in kind of that leadership role?
Our seniors have done a really good job overall doing that. Again, they followed that class, so they saw exactly what it looked like. And then we've had captains on each team that met as a whole every week, so they got to hear the conversations with Taylor Vito and Callie in there and just kind of learn. And they might have not know they were learning in those moments, but they were being led by example. So overall, they've done a really good job. And we actually have some youngsters that are stepping up as leaders. They're not afraid to be vocal. They go 110% all of the time. So we have some vocal ones, and then we have ones that are just doing it and just kind of pushing the whole pack to continue to grow and get better.
One of the few returners we saw from a season ago and who you alluded to earlier, Julia Billington, is back with you this season. How has she improved throughout the offseason? Who are some other kids that have stepped up this offseason to put themselves in a position to perform in 2026?
Yeah, Julia and Addie Keller, they're definitely going to be our go-tos on the outside looking at it right now. They've done a lot of work in the offseason, and as an outside hitter, they get a majority of the balls. So they're the ones that have to be able to mix up their shots and score for us. And then in the middle, middle and right side's kind of all up for grabs, but we'll probably see a little bit of Taylor Burry, Millie Adams, Lily Rath might be in that mix. And then there's going to be some freshmen, Finley Bowman, which people got to kind of know during basketball, and then Layla Meredith, and if anybody followed track, she was moved up for high school track. So those guys will mix in there, Emma Dahl, Avery Dahl. And they know they're all fighting for a position or a spot on the varsity team, but overall it's very cohesive and we're all trying to get better because we know what the end goal is. But those are some names right now that we've been kind of pulling on our court to see where they're all going to mix and match and come up with the best lineup for the end of the season.
Talk about your coaching staff this year and who will be assisting with the volleyball team.
Yep, we're the same as last year. So we have Coach Lehman, Coach Nelson, and then Coach Franson. They're all coaching the same teams. So that's really nice that those coaches now have been through a season with us. They see the expectations. They know kind of what goes into Spartan volleyball behind the scenes, and then obviously what everybody else gets to see. So it's nice to be able to be the same and just kind of flow. We know what drills we're talking about. We kind of, all that stuff you had to take time to explain. We're all on the same page, and we're ready to rock and roll, and I'm excited to have them back.
Your volleyball teams have seen a lot of success these last few seasons. So having a fresher, younger team, having the same coaching staff, what are some of the goals and expectations for this season?
They're going to be the same as always. I know it's a good group, but we still want to be at that 750 mark. The Black Hills Conference is no longer a thing. It's kind of, we don't play all the A schools anymore, so that looks a little bit different, but we still play some of them. And then we've just got that last step of winning that SODAC 16 game. And yeah, I beat myself up thinking about it too on what we need to do better. But I think keeping what we've been doing, because obviously it's worked. We've been successful. We just got to finish off that last little piece and really just add the mental aspect of the game and how to move on and ground ourselves. But same goals as always. I don't want to bring our expectations down any when I know that they are fully capable and they can rise to the challenge and do the exact same thing we've done for the years ahead of them.
You look at your schedule this year, and again, playing less Class A Black Hills opponents, a little more tournaments, some more AA teams, some tougher competition. As you look through your schedule, of course, you start next week at home here versus Rapid City Central. You've had a few good battles with over the years. You got the Huron tournament, the Gillette invite, and a lot of AA, really good AA teams you're playing here, both on the road and here in Spearfish. Talk about your take on the schedule this season and what you'll be up against.
I'm excited for the change. I think it's going to help us stay consistent with the competition that we're seeing throughout the year. There are some solid A schools around here. We can't take that away from them. But it's really hard when we see the Harrisburgs, the Brandon Valleys, the Watertowns, the Aberdeen, all of those guys, where they get to see that competition all year round. So I think this is going to help us. We have Central twice now, Stevens twice, and then we added Campbell County to our schedule as well. So looking at classes, they are that AA also. And yeah, I think it's just, it might be that missing piece also that we just need to see it more often. And I think that I think it's good. Our seed points might go down a little bit, but overall, I want to see that competition. I want to compete. We might not get the win, but if we're battling them in a 4-set match, that's going to help us at the end for sure.
Awesome. Well, Coach Richards, thanks for previewing this season with KDSJ Sports, and we'll be talking to you here soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.